versus Garrote Rogue is just pressure them down. If they don't hit Octobot, their life total depletes very, very quickly. And if they do have Octobot and you have Illucia to counter push, then you're in a very, very good position. Obviously, Gandling starts do get there, but if you have to get rid of your entire hand to look for it, I'm not sure if that's quite worth it. For GivePLZ, I definitely like the look of the 2 cards on the left, just as a 1-2 punch. Voracious Reader, we're probably getting rid of that to find something faster.
Agreed. Yeah, it's really just a question of whether the curve is good enough for you here, which I would wager the answer is yes. I think the Void Touch Attendant into Neophyte when your opponent is on the coin is pretty good. Even if they go like coin Octobot in the best case scenario, like you're still just playing stuff on board, right? And putting on some pressure.
Yeah, I would agree. Posesi with a full mull as well, I completely agree with. None of the cards you're really looking for in the matchup. Like, Kazakus has surprisingly been very useful versus Priest just to be able to stabilize and make sure that you don't actually run out of resources in the world where you're using Brain Freezes and Prize Plunders to deal with small minions. But you don't keep it without the guarantee that you will be in a decent spot in the early game to begin with. GivePLZ gets rid of the Neophyte and gets 2 little bodyguards for the Void Touched Attendant.
Yes.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, I've poisoned you. You're now also wanting to call it Matron as well. I don't know why. I mean,
no, I said Nightshade. It's even worse.
Yeah, yeah.
Less relationship.
Just completely out of nowhere. I mean, I still think nothing trumps me calling. What was it? I called Militia Maleficent. That was a blunder from back in the past. That was a good one.
It was funny though.
Yeah.
There is a Maleficent in Hearthstone, but she's over in Battlegrounds.
Oh yeah, true. I hadn't even connected that.
Anyway, for GivePLZ, I think this ends up just being a ping on the 2-1. Like, he could be very aggressive with the Raise Dead, just trade away his minion and double play another set of 1-1s to free up the Voracious Reader next turn. But he still has access to that next turn, right, if everything costs 0. But GivePLZ disagrees. Okay.
I kind of like it, yeah. I'm just getting everything down, putting on more pressure. Like, this is kind of tough for Rogue to deal with. If they just want to dagger and dagger, like, they're taking a lot of damage.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess with my line, there wasn't a guarantee that your other 1-1 would die, so sometimes your Raise Dead only plays 1 minion. I feel like Sottle and Raven had a similar argument in this situation yesterday, and I think they ended up on this type of play made sense if you're just trying to narrow your hand as much as possible for Voracious Reader.
So I think at this point, honestly, I'm kind of looking at Coin Brain Freeze Dagger, just because it plays around Merchant quite nicely, and the way that the hand is going at the moment, like, you don't have a hard read on it at all, obviously because it's not the Merchant, but it could very well be the Merchant. They play double 0-cost hero power, when if they had anything that cost less than 3, I'm pretty sure they would just jam it.
Posesi, though, jamming with the secret passage. I feel this is way above the average passage you're supposed to get, especially with the combustion picked up from One Thief. It's just incredible, the pan out for Posesi here.
Well, things are most certainly slowing down for GivePLZ, though. He's used a Raise Dead already. There is the second one, I believe. So if he can get Gandling off the top, you know, then we're talking. But outside of that, he's just lost board, and he's not going to be getting it back for a little while.
Indeed. Ping is going to be useful, though.
Ooh. That's interesting.
It is. He didn't get 2 0-cost minions, but it's still a decent-sized merchant next turn.
Yeah.
And he's going in with the 1-cost minions right now.
Okay.
Not the greatest combustion positioning, but I won't knock him for that. It's not in the deck.
True, actually, yeah. Not the worst, but not the best.
Lifesteal?
Lifesteal, deal 3. That sounds good, right?
I like that. Merchant gets up to 5-6. Oh, possibly 6-7.
Pretty good top deck.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it over a ping to protect the attendant, though. Yeah, he is just gonna leave it at 5-6 here to make sure the attendant can survive on board. This giant Golem, I'm sorry, that's my poison.
Okay,
Ooh.
sure, not bad.
It's the attendant, that's the big one.
Yeah. Oh, plus health though. This is getting close. I feel like Posesi should be able to chew through all of this. Like, the combustion is so close to being the absolute nuts. It's just short of clearing everything up that he needs to, though.
Yeah, the Neophyte making this quite awkward. I feel like Posesi will have to take a turn. Well, he could still, like, say, dagger the Neophyte and combust everything on the right.
True, yeah. Or dagger the...
oh yeah, sorry, that's just better.
One less damage, yeah. The same principle.
Correct.
And then hope for Prize Plunderer, Brain Freeze. There's a few good outcomes here, and with a field contact, you're quite likely to find them. And now, well and truly, GivePLZ is gassed out. That is a terrible top deck.
Yeah. Looking for a Lucia.
True. Yeah, it's kind of where he's at already.
Not the greatest contact.
Bit of a whiff, yeah.
Really looking for additional damage. I mean, if he can avoid face tanking the Traveling Merchant, that's all Posesi really needs to win the game.
There it is. That's the one.
Yeah. In big business now, and GivePLZ looking for the Witch herself as the only out, I would say, from this position.
Interesting. There's... Okay, I guess you probably just end with Shadow Stepping the field contact. I was going to say, you could consider going Shadow Step on the Orc Merchant, hit it again and dagger, because it allows you to Guardian Orc Merchant your field contact. But like you said, I think taking the damage is just unnecessary in this instance.
If anything, he could just step his field contact if he feels he really need it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh. He's doing the thing you said. All right, I guess Posesi is looking for a way to win the game next turn, which I feel is not likely without an Octobot, but he is just down to 9 cards.
Yeah, it is a little surprising. That is traded quick as you like. That is another homunculus, and GivePLZ just throws in the towel. No more chances for Lucia. I think he correctly identified. Even if it was to come off the top there, Posesi would have a full board, you know, maybe even lethal in the next couple of turns with a field contact sticking as well. Nothing doing.
Yeah, very... Well, I don't know. Lucia that turn, like that very turn, might have still been okay.
That
like,
turn, yeah.
Like, GivePLZ would have been able to get one of those Aug Merchants to ping, right, plus his hero power to get through the field contact, potentially. But it wasn't a very good Lucia hand, to be fair. Like, a lot of the cards weren't dumpable, and Posesi still had a decent amount of health to work with, so very nicely navigated overall. Sadly, another tick to Raven's camp. I hate to say it, but yeah, I think Posesi completely understood the way to try and stave off the early game push. GivePLZ's hand was not curve-oriented. It was more all-in push and try to get as much of value as you possibly could from the Voracious Reader. And as far as Posesi could see, the only question I had was the timing of the secret passage. Obviously, it looked amazing because he hit the Prize Plunder, but in a different world, I don't know, I feel like I would have waited a bit longer.
Yeah, I can see your point. It was very aggressive, and it's the kind of game that makes me understand what I think Muzzy has done, if I'm not mistaken, over in the Americas servers, where he cut the Voracious Readers entirely from his list to just make room for more aggressive tempo options. I mean, it's honestly what makes me dislike the whole Desk Imp Tiny Fin version in the first place. I was kind of a naysayer when people were still on the fence. They were back and forth between the old list and the new list. Now, quite decidedly, I am in the wrong. I accept that. But on an emotional level, I still see games like that where you're playing a bunch of 0-mana 1/1s and you're like, have we forgotten that Wisp sucks? Like, that was a meme of a card for the entirety of Hearthstone's history, and without the backup for it, you can kind of see why.
Zessi's camera strikes again. And he's decidedly in a worse spot because GivePLZ has the turn 1 homunculus. I think that is extremely powerful in the mirror, but Posesi has one of his own.
Yeah.
Let me up for that.
Yeah, I think we're probably starting homunculus, right? Like, there's no buffs, and so there's not so much immediate need to go for Freshman to have a minion on board for turn 2.
I agree. Just have your 2-5 wake up as soon as possible. Then you can buff that with wriggling if need be, or more likely just take a bunch of value trades because that 5 health breakpoint is such a backbreaker in the matchup when everything is small.
Honestly, a pretty strong hand for both players here. Just very, very high health all round, which is, of course, what you're looking for. No blowout from Gandling, of course, quite yet. But it's just going to be a very honest trade back and forth. Posesi's got the power, but does he have the refill to back it up? Because he is gassed out on 2 with this line.
Gassed out, but so much health. Hitting double freshman in the mirror is perfect. The absolute nuts. And from this point onward, any Voracious Reader top deck type of thing is good for him. Traveling Merchant is amazing as well. If he hits the midpoint of his deck, he's in a good spot. Whereas GivePLZ has to spend some of this mana responding. None of the trades on board are particularly good for him either.
Oh! Gandling is such a brutal top deck. Not only can you not play it, but you just are sat there thinking, what did my 0 mana cards do? They achieved nothing. They just got cleaned up by the 1/4 and the Org Merchant, and now he's left with a ghastly hand.
I still think Posesi's winning. It's not stupid. I mean, like, you just ping, kill the Attendant here, and then kill the 2/1, and then you play a Gandling behind a taunt next turn. Isn't that really good?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Fair enough, fair enough.
Like, obviously it sucks that he doesn't have the immediate 4/4, but it's not like GivePLZ is super pressuring Posesi at this point. Like, you'd much rather have a 1-cost minion or a Merchant here to make sure everything works out perfectly, but the assurance that he has a powerful turn 4 is nothing to scoff at, for sure.
That's true, and of course you don't need to get immediate power out of Gandling to get use of it. It kind of just stick around and power up almost every one of your subsequent draws, apart from Benedictus itself. But that's a decent draw as well here for GivePLZ. He could just go for play everything because he's got the taunt now, so the Tiny Fin makes a bit more sense, and then hero power the Homunculus in order to start chewing through it, I think, rather than actually kill the freshman.
Yeah, I agree. Killing the freshman, or killing a minion as opposed to taking health off the highest attack minion, which also has taunt, is not necessarily playing around Wriggling Horror. I was going to say here, because there's still 2 minions for Posesi to buff. So in that world, I'd rather just say, if they don't have Wriggling Horror, my own taunt is blocking all of the good trades. So I'd rather take health off of the most threatening minion from Posesi. But GivePLZ clearly disagrees here. Maybe he's trying to play around Traveling Merchant a little bit better. That would be my argument for killing off an additional minion.
And honestly, I think you go for the attack there as well. You far from have a strong read on Gandling, but there are few cards that your opponent wouldn't have just thrown down on that previous turn, to be perfectly honest. And just being able to chew through the taunt as effectively as possible so that you can kill Gandling is of the utmost importance, because now it is 1 damage being able to being able to clear the Gandling, right?
Yeah, that Derek is a ghastly top deck.
Oh my god. I knew you'd make fun of me for using such a posh word. I don't know where that even came from. I never used that, but okay. I did sound like a little bit of an idiot.
No, it was great. It's like when Otto calls Raven out for saying forgo, and now he just says it all the time. I want you to do that all the time now too.
No.
Well, if you can't kill the Gandling, I'm pretty sure you just don't... I was gonna say value trade the 1/3 instead this turn, but he's just leaving it on board. GivePLZ is already throwing it down, and, you know, for good reason. Posesi just gets 2 4/4s, and that's the game.
Exactly, it's kind of just over. And for GivePLZ, like, it's such a minuscule difference. Do you bump with a 1/3 into a 2/5 taunt in the previous turn? Yes, there are other things he could consider that maybe make it worse to go for that line, but in this exact instance, it's a massive punish because he can't kill the Gandling. He would have been able to with the other line, and this turn from Posesi would be infinitely worse.
Yeah, GivePLZ would straight up just be in it, and arguably in the lead with a 5 mana 5/6 for the next turn. The tiniest differences. I've never seen proof of the difference they can make here.
Oh, and because he didn't attack... Oh, well, I mean, I guess he attacked as much as possible. But if you go Elucia, you give your opponent a 5-6 to play, even if you get to ping off the Gandling. And if you go for the Benedictus, the Gandling survives. Either way, it's over. GivePLZ throws it down, and we're 2-0 out of nowhere, flying through this series in record time. As to be perfectly honest, it feels like our players today aren't even interested in trying to find outs anymore. There have been some really early concedes here so far.
I don't think this one is too early. I thought, like, GivePLZ, honestly, I thought he conceded the turn before he actually did, which,
fair enough.
Honestly, I felt like was still reasonable if you're not able to kill a Gandling. But I do generally want to see just the good faith continue on until you're truly dead. Not gonna knock him for it, though. Posesi is going to move on to this hybrid Demon Hunter now, which is decidedly, I would say, not good matchup into the Shadow Priest. Even though you do have a couple more removal tools, the fact that it's only one immolation aura and you have not super consistent ways of hitting either the Brute half of the deck or the Moarg half of the deck, I still think it comes out slightly in Shadow Priest's favor. I know that your big testing session last night came up with a different conclusion, but it's definitely a lot closer than before with the straight up Brute Demon Hunter.
Yes, indeed. I do believe I was, I think like 7-3 at the end against Priest. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, like it felt good as the Demon Hunter. I was playing a double Immolation Aura list, which obviously helps drastically, whereas Posesi is going for one Aura. But I just found that unless they hit the Elucia hand that can obviously just disrupt me and not let me answer at all, just going all in on quest completion at the start gave me enough time to either find brutes or to find a big board clear. Like, one of the most consistent things I was doing was discounting Guild Trader. Like, drawing Guild Trader off of the quest in the first couple turns was huge, because you can go Guild Trader Immolation Aura for 6 damage AoE. Guild Trader Fell Screen Blast for 3 damage AoE was huge as well. I think there was just enough removal to supplement the brutes to the point where I honestly felt pretty good in the matchup.
Fair enough. There's also, I would say, the Gandling factor. That's what makes me think that this matchup is still pretty good. That's the big one here. But definitely not an opener like this from GivePLZ. This is terrible. He not only missed a 1-drop, his turn 3 doesn't look good either.
Okay, Sigil Runner Trade obviously doesn't complete the quest. I do think you probably have to play the Sigil Runner now, though. Actually, I take that back. He can go for Acrobatics Coin Spectral Sight next turn, which over-completes the quest by 1, so he discounts a full extra card, which I guess gives him that higher chance of getting the board clear or the brutes. So upon retrospect, I'm actually okay with this line from Posesi.
Yeah, I like it too. Over-completing quests is just good in this matchup. Any aggressive matchup, the more mana flexibility you have, the better. Even though you don't necessarily have as much resources to complete the quest, there's enough redundancy with the card draw that I think you can still get it done. And with this now, since he discounts these cards, he can even draw further if he wants to. With the acrobatics effect. Oh yeah, alright. That's gonna be a 0-cost double brute, ladies and gentlemen. Posesi just pops it out. You already know what's going through his head. It's not my fault. It's the brute.
Oh my god, it's the acrobatics as well. That's unbelievable. Yeah. I hadn't even factored that in. I think that's just a concede from GivePLZ. Posesi, 2 days in a row, sweeping his opponent in some of the most disgusting games of Hearthstone that I have ever seen. He hasn't lost in 2 days, and he's through to the semi-finals. What was that?
That's our world's representative right there, Derek. From
Yay!
He might just win Season 2 too and get 2 tickets. That's not how that works, but I can see it. Can't you? Posesi winning Worlds.
I can see it, Gia. If he wins both seasons, Posesi versus Posesi in the grand finals, that's what I'm holding out for. That's the kind of world champion finals that I would be up for.
Super excited for Posesi A to beat Gabby in the semifinals. And then Posesi A to smash it versus Posesi B in the grand finals. I can't wait.
Yeah, Posesi, I mean, again, you can see from his wave and his smile, he knows that was D's disgusting, absolutely rancid Hearthstone play there. I mean, in the best way possible. He played well and obviously just got dealt the absolute turbo nuts. And the Priest 3 times in a row, just coming up short for GivePLZ. We're seeing some of that, some of that salt that we've come to expect from GivePLZ. I think understandably so, as he did just get nothing going there over the course of that series. But there it is, all done, and we're through to our semi-finals tomorrow.
Quick way to end out the day. We had a very fun back and forth series for the second match of the day. Definitely my highlight of the day was Alan versus Surrender, which Alan just barely clutched out. But beyond Posesi's unstoppable dominance, beyond our current world champion in Glory also making it through to the semifinals, the spotlight is on Alan and Chonsu, I think, because they really do need these points to save themselves and see another season of Grandmasters. If they fight it out in the finals, I think that'll be one for the ages.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Gia. I think